Well, hello there. Glad to see you. Glad you can make it. It's been a while, and I apologize. I know you're probably very curious to see what's going on with Baldwin in this story. But, tending to King Richard's Fair, which I think I told you about, as well as meeting up with some patrons there as well, crops that needed to be tended to, the preparing of the house for winter, making sure leaks were fixed, etc. The list goes on. But I'm sure you, as a farm owner yourself, probably knows that. Or, I forget, do you live in the capital? Oh, to live in the capital instead of the farmland. Such would be the life. But before we go on, I am parched. Vincent! Vincent!
Yeah, boss? Hang on. Oh, boy. Don't know if I'm going to get these podcasts ready for publication for our Patreons. Yeah? What can I do for you, boss?
There you are, Vincent. Can you do me a favor? Can you get me some elven mead and elven bread, too, please? Thank you. All right. So, let's get into the story. Where did we last leave off? I think... Ah, yes. Yes. So, they were venturing over to Jacob's Farm. The Dark Ones were there. And, as they say, they were taking the battle to them.
Pain explodes in Baldwin's eyes as he feels Tana's hands reset his nose. Bolting upright, Baldwin looks over Tana's shoulder to see 3 of the enemy still standing, fighting with Rufus, Talon, and Elrin. And as he starts to get to his feet, he catches Rufus taking the flat of a blade across the side of his face, whereupon the dark elf turns and sprints for the open door. Without a thought, Baldwin grabs Tana's dagger from her belt and throws it at the creature's back. With perfect aim, the elf falls first onto the porch. All the while, Elrin and Talon parry with their combatant, till eventually an opening is found, and each finishes off the underworld beings. Staggering to his feet, Baldwin can feel the poison trying to stop him, yet each step to the fallen elf gets easier and easier. Standing over him, the thoughts of the elf queen come and go. Where is she? Shouldn't she be here? Shouldn't she stop the killing of her followers? Weren't their actions all but chaotic? And as more questions come to mind as to why she isn't there, Talon steps over, ready to finish the prone elf laying in the doorway.
Wait, why? He is the only one left alive. And we need answers.
Baldwin, what are you hoping to find?
Answers? Like, why are they here? Did the Dark Queen send them? Where is she?
Sighing, Elrin kneels down and pulls the dagger out, handing it back to Tana, and begins questioning the male elf in what Baldwin can only surmise as a variation of the elven language. In what seems like forever, but really only minutes, Elrin looks up to Talon and Baldwin and shakes his head.
Despite his paralyzing predicament, he refuses to answer, instead calling you, Baldwin, every foul name known in the elven language.
Frustrated, Baldwin kicks the elf in his side, of which Tana then grabs his arm.
Baldwin, enough. He cannot feel anything. So we either heal him, or we send him on his way. End the suffering.
Heal him. End his suffering. Do you know how much suffering I am going through? Every day, every morning, every night in my dreams. They don't deserve any mercy.
Stepping over the prone elf to face Baldwin, Elrin's eyes pierce into Baldwin's.
My friend, you are right, on all accounts. Yet Talon is right as well. And that we, those of us standing here, are of a better person in how we live and do good in this world. Your actions lead down a dark path, and very few come back from. All Talon is trying to say, what we're all trying to do, is trying to keep you one step away from making the wrong choice.
Grievance and humility course through Baldwin.
Fine, but it doesn't change the fact that we need answers. And yet, he refuses.
Irritated, Baldwin looks at the dark elf. His head is swimming in emotions. What to do? What to do? Then...
Tana, can you enter his mind, like you did when I first thought I had lost Sylvia? Baldwin, what you ask is too much. Why is that? Tana's gift is just that, a gift, and it is not something that we take lightly. For what it bears unto the subject is well unto herself. So we do nothing. We have a means to get answers. We have a way to find out why a whole group of vile creatures left the comfort of their darkness and strode tens of miles to this very spot. The very spot I killed their Jiragomo.
Baldwin, I understand.
No, you don't, or you'd be doing everything necessary to get the information out of this dark elf.
Eldrin, my friend, I agree with Baldwin on this. Their ilk this far out, this far south, it has meaning. And if we're to uphold our mantras, protecting those who can't protect themselves, then we must sometimes do the very things that burden our soul.
No, in this we...
Abruptly, Elrond stops as Tana holds a finger to his lips, and for a few heartbeats, unspoken words pass between them. Sighing in resignation, Elrond turns away, leaving Tana standing over the back of the elf.
Can you? Will you?
Showing no emotion except for a slight nod, she gets to her knees, straddling the elf, and slowly cups the back of his head. For a few moments there is only silence, as if everyone is holding their breath in anticipation. Then Tana is sweating and gritting her teeth. Tension rises amongst the four men, more so Elrond, and as he reaches for her, Talon and Rufus each grab an arm, holding him back. All eyes are on Tana and the elf, each now dripping in sweat down their brows. Then she is standing, the contact broken, her face pale, her eyes shadowed by darkness. Again, Elrond takes a step to embrace her, but she holds a hand up firmly and then turns slowly out the door into the early morning light. When Tana does not come back in, each of them pass looks to one another. Then Elrond is out the door, followed by the rest, and there she sits on the bottom step, her head in her hands. With barely a gesture by Elrond, Tana nods, looking up at the three men standing behind him. With some moments between them, passing gestures back and forth, Tana stops, shaking her head. With an exasperated look, she gestures one more time to Elrond, waiting for his reply.
What is it?
What and how she gleaned was a lot, such that I don't think I would be able to convey, nor would I be able to translate her words properly.
So, how do we find out?
Tana will talk to us.
Confusion flashes across the three men's faces.
She will talk to us unhindered by entering our minds. What she proposes is difficult, but she insists it is the only way.
Will she touch our mind one at a time?
No, she would do it as a group.
Tana, is that wise?
Shrugging, Tana responds, "How else to know the why?"
How do we do this?
First, she needs to rest.
Making a sound that can only be in frustration, Tana mouths the words, "No."
Fine. Come. Each of us will now sit in a circle with Tana in the center.
As everyone moves to the grass next to the porch, Elrond positions the men around Tana such that when he sits, they form a square.
Now we must take the palm of our hands and ensure they lay flat, touching her, and then close your eyes.
As each member of the group proceeds as instructed, starting with Elrond, there is a stillness in the air, as each mind is pulled into a place so serene it feels like a dream, one where there is perfect breeze, the perfect grass grows, and the most beautiful butterflies flutter. And as the landscape fills in all around them, there stands Tana, blue eyes aglow, her golden hair waving as if a strong wind is blowing.
Thank you for your trust.
Don't mention it. I forgot how amazing this place is.
Yes, well, as lovely as this is, what I am about to say will more than darken the setting.
What did you see?
Baldwin, do you know how you feel guilty? Guilty in thinking your killing of the Jiragomo is what brought all of this here, to the hamlet Talon?
Yes, but why are you asking?
Because that could be further from the truth.
Tana, I don't understand.
Are you saying the Juragomo, that night last year, it was here for a reason?
Yes, and it wasn't for satisfying some dark elven urges.
What then?
Do you know of a Theodore Middendorf?
Rufus, Talon, and Baldwin all exchange glances, each nodding in unison.
Aye, he's a noble in the hamlet. Actually, he is the leading lord of which some say, through the constable's hand, is the ruling hand. Rumours are his wealth is more than all the other nobles in Talon, but how he got ye gold is beyond me. I would think he inherited it, but who knows?
His wealth and power are obtained by devious means.
How so?
For one, He uses dark elves to grab farmland that he wants.
What?
As this farm, Jacob's farm, includes land that extends into the forest, it is worth tenfold in what it can bring for crops brought to market. The trees here are of a dark maple, the hardest of wood sought by ship makers.
So you are saying...
Yes, the night you came across the Jerigomo here at the farm, it was sent to make it look like a wild animal attack, and with no family around to contest, the selling of the farm would ultimately fall into Middendorf's hands.
All are silent for what seems like minutes.
Okay, I think I can understand this. But what about my family? What about these elves? What are they doing here now?
Sadly, Marcus in your family died because of the Dark Queen's wishes, something to do with unbridled chaos. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that is what I received as images. As for the elves here at this time, they are to meet this Middendorf, for there is a farm south of here that touches Jacob's.
That would be the Smiths.
Well, it appears that their role is to make the family disappear, thereby forcing the farm to be sold and then bought by your noble.
I get the greed of the noble, but what do the Dark Ones get in return? For them to venture to the surface, and this far south, it has to be for something substantial.
Yes, red diamonds.
Is there such a thing?
Yes, I have seen only one in my life, and that was hundreds of years ago when I first apprenticed with a human mage. Depending on the size and how flawless it is, the capacity to wield magic is tenfold if holding such a gemstone.
All are quiet, taking in what has just been said, and what it implies, during which the image of Tana and the green scenery fade away.
Are you okay?
With a hint of a smile, Tana nods while gesturing. Just a headache, that's all.
Nothing that a Rufus T can't conquer.
And as Rufus gets up, heading back to the house, Baldwin asks,
What about the elf?
Nothing for ye to worry about. Aaron and I will take care of it.
I don't want to know, do I?
You're a big lad now. Some would even say an adventurer. So knowing the truth would do you some will. No good in sugarcoating the realness of good versus evil. The battle that takes place behind the veil of innocence, or better yet, the ignorance.
Following after Alvin and Talon as they grab the elf by his arms, Baldwin wonders to himself, how is this any different from when he was in the territory wars, when he would walk by those after a battle, without thinking, take their life away. With Rufus's help in creating a hole to bury the body, the four of them head back inside Jacob's house after a little more than a quarter hour.
Tana, when you commented on Middendorf's power and wealth, you alluded to the fact that there was more than just grabbing farmland. What else is he doing?
But before she can reply, there are sounds of horses approaching from outside, and as Baldwin and the other look for cover, a voice can be heard calling out.
Hello? Hello in there. Come now. Don't be afraid. It's just a little sunlight. And we have business to attend to, and my time is precious.
All look to Baldwin as he suddenly stands behind the broken kitchen table he was crouching behind.
Middendorf.
And I think that's where we're going to end it. I hope you're finding the story quite interesting. Interesting twist there. Especially with this Middendorf. Oh. Would I like to say I've never met him? No. But that's another story for another day. Anyways, until next time, and hopefully that will be back in about 2 weeks' time, we'll be able to sit down and continue with the chapter. Until then, you be safe.